Hello guys, my name is Borax and I pay sales tax. Besides that, my entire league career I've been a fill main, so aka a support player. Sometimes playing the same old supports can get tiring, so I want to find out how viable and how much fun it can be to play other champions in the support role. Today we'll be looking at Viego, the Ruin King. Disclaimer time. I'm going to start off by saying I am no Viego expert. I play and enjoy a ton of supports, and I was thinking Viego could be a fun one, so let's take a look at how fun and strong he can be as a support, even when in the hands of someone who isn't a pro at the champion. When it comes to invading, Viego is not the worst. You have a fairly decent range CC ability in your W that has a pretty long stun for a level 1 ability, 1.25 seconds to be exact if you max charge it, which if you land it, you should get a kill for sure. Because of this, I will give him an A+ rating. If you can land his W stun, he is nutty, but that's the catch. You have to land it, and it's quite difficult with no other setup, so he doesn't get a S here. I like to judge the overall laning phase based on 3 categories: poking, peeling, and all-inning. First off, poking. Well, Viego has no mana, so you can constantly throw out your abilities and do about 1 damage to your enemies if they decide to stand close enough to you. I tried out Comet Viego as well, which felt a bit nicer in the poking category, but it wasn't amazing overall. But peeling, oh boy peeling, also not the best. You have 1 CC ability in his W, which isn't great as a peeling tool, because if you don't charge it up, you can only stun an opponent for 0.25 seconds if you don't charge it up, which is almost nothing. Your best bet to peel is to try and kill the opponent, but with how little gold you have from the support role, that won't be too easy either. Now, when it comes to all-inning, Viego actually didn't feel like the worst ever. If you can get that full channel stun off, you can combo all of your abilities with your ADC and hopefully burst that person down, especially if you utilize your ult, which does more damage to low target enemies. And the perk of this champion as a support is that once you've killed that person, you can switch into that target and gain access to their abilities immediately, which will help you continue the fight. I will admit though, landing his W in lane is quite difficult, as it gets blocked by minions and is slow, and it's not the longest range. You will have to run by the enemy minions in order to find an angle to go all in, and if you miss it, you will have dash into the enemies and will be a juicy target for them to collect. He is great when you are getting a gank though, because he is quite slippery from the support role with his stealth. For overall ability to lane, I will give Viego a C- as a support. It's a little worse than okay, as he doesn't do too much and you will have to rely on your enemies kinda sucking for you to get ahead. But luckily, that will happen quite frequently, and in those cases, he is passable in lane. Roaming. Finally, something Viego is actually good at. Viego reminds me a ton of Pipe, but honestly worse from the support role. But his invisibility ability, which also gives him movement speed, is great for roaming and getting closer to those scraps you are trying to reach. Another thing I utilize to help catch my foes unawares is my beloved Hex Flash, to get over those pesky walls that are in the way. Once you have reached your destination, you can channel your W as if you are ganking and hope that you hit your opponent with it. Oftentimes they will juke down because that's what people like to do. If you hit it fully channeled, which again is 1.25 seconds of CC, you should be able to shut down your opponent, especially if you add in your ultimate. For roaming, I will give Viego an A+. Roaming will be your trick to trying to get ahead in the early game, as it is your best chance to get ahead. Way better than getting ahead in the lane at least. Now then, normally before I rate the champion's overall ability in the early game, I like to look at the matchups they might have to face. But because I think that almost every single matchup he will have to face is pretty freaking hard if the enemy is playing a real support, I don't think it's all that worth it. Let's just make the classic Morgana joke of her being the League of Legends equivalent of a middle school science fair, and let's say that Viego could probably do a good job at countering Tryndamere's supports. Now that we have considered his matchups, I will give Viego a C for his ability to support in the early game, and a lot of that is thanks to his strong ability to roam, and the fact that I believe there are going to be a ton of champions that will be way worse than him in the support role, that I just can't wait to play one day. When it comes to late game, I like to consider the champion's abilities to engage, peel, and their overall impactfulness on a team fight when they are being utilized as a support. Dear lord, the amount of times where my little Viego support was the main engage for our team, because people draft the goofiest champions way too frequently. Wait, am I really judging other people's choice in draft when I'm playing Viego support? Anywho, the way I tried to play around this was to build Turbo Chem Tank so that I would be able to run at one target that was semi-isolated and quickly W. And then what did you do, Borax? You ask with excited anticipation as I continue to rave about Viegos engaging. Well, fellow gamers, that's it. That's Viegos engage. And for that reason, I will give him a C. Because at least it's something, but even though it's something, it doesn't mean it's good, but there will be plenty of champions that have nothing. Peeling in the late game as Viego is exhausting. No, I literally mean using exhaust. Taking exhaust on this champion is your best chance to peel, but at the same time you're giving up a ton of early pressure because you don't have ignite, so still take ignite honestly, because you will need it. But Borax, you idiot, you cry out. You can micro stun them as if you have old Akaliar if you tap your W. Boy, that will really stop the Irelia from getting a pentakill here. I appreciate it, guys, we did it. For peeling the late game, I will give Viego support a C+. All criticism aside, if you can hit that 1.25 second stun late game on someone who is going in, it is a great peeling tool. And in theory, you could ult a group of people to knock some of them away, but I will admit I was never able to do that in practice. I almost forgot to mention actually, I built Locket a bunch on Viego as I thought it was funny to have a bunch of shields to try and live as long as possible, so that's another way you can peel for your team. When it comes to Viego's overall ability to teamfight, the goal is to kill someone with ult and then become a real champion to win the fight. My thought process for Viego was to be as tanky as possible to survive long enough in the teamfight where I could turn into that super fed Renekton top or someone else that could really turn the tide of battle. There's one kinda big problem in my plan though. If you build tank Viego, your ability to actually kill that person to become them gets diminished heavily. So while an extremely fun idea, it's very team reliant. For team fighting, I will give Viego a B from the support role, because there could be instances where you find the ability to switch into someone useful and you can wipe the enemy team from that position. Another reason why he is handy in a team fight is the fact that his ult is resetting, where if you kill someone with any ability and transform into them, you get the ability to use Viego's ult again, and you can use that to continue the fight and maybe kill more people. Before we give Viego a grade for his overall ability to support, let's take a look at some of the runes and items that I enjoyed running. For runes on Viego, I think taking something like Conqueror on him makes a lot of sense, because you can quickly stack it and he doesn't use any other rune that well, but because I'm a support main, I instead decided to go with Aftershock pretty much every game, outside of the one I tried AP Viego with Comment on. And it didn't feel too bad to go Aftershock as a rune, as long as you can proc it with your W, you are in business. Besides Aftershock, I took Demolish, as the other ones didn't make any sense, and it can help you get some plates. Then I like Bone Plating to help against enemy poke, and finally Unflinching to give you some tenacity against enemy CC supports. Secondarily, I took Inspiration with Hextech Flash because I enjoy it and wasn't sure what else to run, and Biscuit Delivery to help with sustain and lane. Now, let's take a look at some of the items. I'm honestly not sure what you should build on Viego, but for a tanky build, I really enjoyed Turbo Chem Tank if you need more engage, or Solari Locket if you need more peel. Building Viego tank is honestly pretty funny because enemies will keep trying to kill you, but they will find you to have a bit more health than they might suspect. Other items that I think are decent on him include Deadman's Plate in order to give you the movement speed to better catch out foes, and even something sneaky like Zhonya's could be a good buy on him, as you do have 100% scaling of AP on his W, and having the ability to go into stasis is such a good tool to use. But at the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure what you should build on him, and I don't think he is the best support, even though I really wanted him to work. I would ultimately give him a C- for his overall ability to support. My personal recommendation is that he is worthy of a try in the support role if you really love Viego as a champion, but if not, this guy is the first champion I don't give my stamp of approval in the support role that I've played so far. Well guys, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and thank you for helping me reach 300 subscribers. That's pretty awesome, and I hope we can keep growing this channel together. If you enjoyed this video, if you could leave it a like and maybe subscribe, I would truly appreciate it, and I will keep doing my best to make good content for you guys, and playing all of the champions of the game in the support role one day. Thank you once again for watching, and good luck. Have fun if you're trying out Viego support. You will probably need it.